For most of 2020 to 2021, this time interval has been pretty, for lack of better words, useless. Kind of like canned cheese, air resistance, mug handles, and the $2 bill. And to constantly remind me of this time, I, for some reason, decided to make something equally as useless. I made a useless box. But what is a useless box? Well, it's a box that you turn on and it turns itself off. That's it. Why do I want to make this? I don't know. And how am I going to get this thing to work? Well, I can't get into the nitty-gritty of the code and the hardware. But frankly, I have no idea how any of that works, and it's going to make a boring video anyway. So I think it's a much better idea for the prototype to explain itself. Yeah. And I said, "That's not a cow. That's my motherboard."
Good morning, guys.
Hey, Arduino. Good to see you again.
And it's good to see you guys too. Say, box servo, hand servo. You guys still at 5 degrees and 180 degrees respectively?
Yep, I haven't moved since the last time you powered on.
Nice, nice. Just making sure, you know, kind of my job.
Yeah, I get it. But you just missed it. Switch was just telling the funniest joke.
Tell it, Switch.
Okay. So, my family and I were going on vacation in cyberspace and came across a... Oh my gosh!
Okay. You got this. You're programmed for this purpose. Okay. Box servo, I need you to go from 5 degrees to 110 degrees. Give yourself like 20 milliseconds in between each degree.
That's oddly specific, but okay.
Hand servo, shut up! I need you to go from 180 degrees to 65 degrees. Pronto!
I'm on it!
And then I said, "That's not a cow. That's my motherboard."
Oh, sorry. I just realized you're all bored, Arduino.
No, that's all right. Thanks, guys. You could go back now. Say, Switch, do you have another joke?
Yeah. I feel like you're gonna like this one. So, there I was, and these 2 cookies walked into a jar. Alright, cool, I guess. He made a useless box. Whoa! Concrete scrapbook. The heck is that all about? Wait. True, I can stop right here, but honestly, that's kind of boring, and I know I can make this thing more useless. I want to make it bigger, add more switches, more servos, make it portable, and of course, somehow add a turtle somewhere. The idea will be exactly the same as the prototype, except now there's going to be a turntable, and this is literally the part of my script that says I have no idea what I'm going to do next. So just going to go with the flow, and I'm pretty sure it's going to work out fine. It always does. I do know that for the box, I'm going to use some pallet wood that I found off the streets. Just got to cut, glue, sand, and done. I got a box. Then I gotta make the turntable, sprinkle some switches, support the actuating servos, design some hands, guess and check the proper angles, guess and check the angles of the turntable, make the door flap, test the door flap, clean up all the electronics, and throw a turtle somewhere in there. That's it, really. Pretty simple. This video took about 2 months to make. It's a very simple concept, a very simple design, but there were so many problems that made like everything 5 times longer to complete. Trying to get the turtle head into the exact position that it needed to be took about 3 days. Originally, I thought that I could attach the head to the door flap so that when the door flap comes up, so will the head, but it turns out that the access takes a lot of room, and well, then the turtle head would be obstructed and it won't do what I want it to do. And then I thought, oh, maybe I could do a whole string and pulley system. That could be cool. But you know, that's pretty much the definition of over engineering. Hey, why do all that stuff when you could just get another servo, put a popsicle on it, and then make the head go up? So I did do a mock-up of this whole thing. I put it roughly together to see how it would work, if it would even work. And then I quickly realized that, hey, your switch holes are not perfectly drilled to be like to where they're supposed to be. And now the claws that I printed out are not gonna work with this. But that's an easy fix. Just take a lighter to it and just mold it to the way you need it to be. But even then, the servos were still not strong enough to actually turn off the switch. So I thought, hey, increase the switch height so that you could increase your leverage. But of course, that didn't work either. It's because pretty much the whole thing is built around a tiny axis at the center. And when the claw goes to actuate the switch, it's kind of off center a little bit. So when it pushes, it kind of turns and it bends backwards. Also, the servos were kind of having mini seizures, but I think I could probably fix that with PWM stuff, but that's whatever. I'm not gonna do that. What I did do though was I added some rubber bands as kind of like shock absorbers, and I also tied a string to the axis as like a tensioning system so that when the claw does go to actuate the switch, it's not gonna bend back as much and it's gonna have that support to turn it off. And that pretty much took care of all the problems until the final calibration test, where I was going to put everything together and be like, hey, it all works. But no, that's not how it works, because nothing works like that. I have no idea what happened. Something changed, something went off course. Pretty much all of the coordinates were offset, so I had to reprogram all of that. And when I did, the whole tensioning system with the string, yeah, surprise, it stopped working. After about a day of just getting the perfect millimeter of length for the string, I was like, I can't keep doing this. So I finally decided to do what I should have done in the first place and CAD a turntable platform. It's like 2 pieces, one that will sit on top of the servo and the other one sitting perfectly flat on that, turning everything above it. That way, when the claw does go to turn off the switch, it's not going to bend back as much because there's actually something there to support everything. And it actually reduced a lot of the shakiness. Reduce, not resolve. The funny thing is that designing and printing the platform actually took me a lot less time than to fiddle with the string. There were plenty of other tiny problems too, like one of my servos deciding to blow up out of nowhere. But, And now that I think about it, if I were to take everything and design it on Fusion 360, like CAD everything out, all of these problems might have never happened. I would have had precise measurements and everything probably would have worked out fine instead of guessing and checking and crying and guessing again. Oh well, I guess. I mean, here it is. It works fine like 70% of the time, which is good enough for me. Special thanks to 3D Fuel for their recycled refuel PLA filament. And an even bigger thanks to Lee Andrew Jones for composing Dingus, the track used on today's animation. Tune in next time for the next build, the 3D printed keyboard build, or the 3D printed open source smartwatch build, whichever comes first. And thank you for watching.